If you're looking to apply to the best universities in the UK, you've definitely heard of Oxbridge, the University of Oxford and the University of Cambridge. But there are others that could be considered close to equal in terms of quality and prestige. Beyond Oxbridge, you may have seen that some of the other highest rated universities in the UK can be found in London. While these universities can't compete with Oxbridge in terms of age or legacy, they've still become super highly regarded within the education space, with some courses being equally as competitive as Oxford or Cambridge. These universities aren't officially linked in any capacity outside of the occasional research collaboration and the minor links between Oxford and Cambridge. However, they're often considered together under the label G5 universities. What does this actually mean though? Will it impact your application in any sort of way? This video is going to explore the term and the universities that it houses. Let's take a look. The term G5 University, sometimes known as Oxbridge or the Golden Triangle, is not an official title given to any university, but it has become a popular way of describing the 5 major universities found within Oxford, Cambridge and London. These 3 are Imperial College London, the London School of Economics and Political Science, and UCL, University College London. These 5 universities are the ones you'll see most commonly referenced and really are the only official members. However, some sources claim that the following universities could also be considered G5 universities, most notably King's College London, which is even referenced in the G5 Wikipedia article. While King's is a respected university in its own right, the G5 that we'll be considering in this video are going to be the 5 that we listed before. So, why are the G5 universities so well regarded? In a really basic sense, it's simply down to reputation. These are 5 of the most famous universities in the UK, and they're frequently recommended to those looking for top universities. But why is that the case? Let's consider what sets these universities apart. Firstly, there's the aforementioned legacy. While this point primarily applies to Oxford and Cambridge, seeing as they have a history dating back as far as 1096, the other 3 universities have fairly interesting histories too. They also have the benefit of being located in the English capital, which itself is a historic city. Between the 5 universities, there's a wide variety of courses available. Oxford, Cambridge and UCL offer a more general selection, while LSE and Imperial each provide more specialised course selections. Either way, the G5 has something for pretty much everyone. But most importantly, it's the standard of teaching that's seen at these universities. All 5 of them consistently perform well in both national and international ranking tables, often being considered some of the best in the world. These rankings are achieved thanks to their expert faculty, advanced facilities and fantastic connections for students to further their prospects. It should also be noted that all of these universities are members of the Russell Group, which itself promotes excellence across its 24 universities. So this all sounds great, but should you actually apply for any of these universities? They're all immensely popular, so they obviously have a lot of appeal for many students, but they shouldn't be your default pick in every scenario. So here's why. Firstly, these universities are incredibly competitive and they have very high entry standards. These are some of the top universities in the UK, so thousands of applicants are going to be applying to them each year. Spaces on some of these courses are really limited, so applicants need to be able to truly stand out in order to be competitive. For most courses, applicants are not going to be able to rely on just achieving high grades in their exams in order to succeed, as this is kind of considered a minimum entry requirement. For some courses, including all courses at Oxford and Cambridge, applicants must complete additional entry requirements outside of their UCAS application, including admissions tests and interviews. Success rates at these universities tend to be fairly low due to the number of applications that they receive each year. For example, in 2024, none of the G5 universities had an acceptance rate above 20%. Cambridge was the least competitive, but still didn't admit even a fifth of its applicants, while LSE admitted just 6.7% of its over 26,000 applicants. With this in mind, it's important to take a realistic look at your application so far. Do you believe that your grades and additional work are competitive? Would you feel confident about taking an admissions test or an interview? If not, then you may wish to consider applying to another university with lower entry requirements. If you do still feel confident, then it may still be that you require extra support in one way or another. Bear in mind, there is a lot of support available for these admissions processes, especially for Oxford and Cambridge. A great place to start if you're planning to apply is the Big Book of Oxbridge applications, which covers the entire process from beginning to end. It's over 500 pages long, totally free to download in the link in the description below. It's a really great way to inform yourself on all the major steps that you'll need in order to earn your offer. However, it's not just a matter of whether you could get in, but you also need to consider if these universities are actually right for you. While I did say there is a wide selection of courses available between all the universities, they don't cover all options. Many of the courses at these universities have been established for years, with not many new ones being introduced in recent years, especially at Oxbridge. More contemporary career paths like film production, animation and video game production aren't really covered within the G5, so those with aspirations like these will need to look elsewhere. As well as this, it's important to consider the locations of these universities. All of them are found within cities in the middle and south of England, all within about an hour's drive from one another. There are a number of reasons why a student wouldn't want to study in this area, whether it's cost, distance from home, or a desire to study away from a city environment. Thankfully, Russell Group universities can be found all across the UK, but the G5 is far more restricted in its locations. Lastly, it's important to remember that you can't apply to both Oxford and Cambridge in the same admission cycle, as per rules laid out by UCAS. If you're still keen on applying to a G5 university after hearing all of this, then the next question to answer is which ones you should actually go for. Other than Oxford and Cambridge, there are no restrictions on where you can apply, as long as you pick no more than 5 options. We wouldn't recommend choosing more than 2 or 3 of the universities to apply to in 1 year though. Remember, these are highly competitive universities with very limited spaces, so no one is guaranteed a spot. Having at least a couple of backup choices in your university selection will help you be prepared in the case that you don't get an offer from your top choice. Plus, your backup choice is going to need to have lower grade requirements in case you don't meet the grades you need to confirm your firm choice. So, how do you choose between these 5 universities? Let's consider some key factors. Firstly, subject specialties. While the majority of courses at G5 universities are well regarded, most of these universities have areas which they're more well known. That's not to say that these universities actually specialise in certain subjects, although they do in some cases, but some courses have certainly garnered a reputation for being truly the best of the best. Oxford is fairly well-rounded in all subjects that it teaches, including law and medicine, but some consider Oxford to be the best place to go for budding politicians and public figures, with its PPE course being one of the most popular that they offer. Opposite to Oxford, Cambridge is often considered the strongest STEM university of the two. 2 of the top courses within the university are engineering and natural science. Imperial offers a wide variety of degrees, but these are mostly STEM degrees, with no arts or humanity courses available and an extremely limited selection of social sciences courses. One area in which Imperial frequently performs really well is engineering. While Cambridge tends to be on the top for general engineering, Imperial frequently ranks first within various subcategories of the subject. These include chemical, civil, mechanical and electrical engineering, which are all available as standalone degrees. LSE almost exclusively focuses on humanities and social science subjects, so it's fair to say that they're more of a specialty university. With that being said, its courses in economics, history and politics tend to be very popular amongst applicants. UCL is probably the most general of the 5 universities, with no particular subject standing out as its specialty. It stands out from the others in having a far wider selection of degrees available, including some of the more modern disciplines along the classic subjects. They frequently rank well in many major subjects, so it's clear that they provide top quality teaching to all of their students. The courses arguably are the most important factors to consider, but there are other factors too. While it may not seem like a big deal, these universities can have fairly different teaching styles from one another. Much of it will come down to the faculty and how they present their curriculums, but there is a key difference between Oxbridge and the London universities. Oxford and Cambridge tend to emphasise teaching through tutorials and supervisions respectively. While named differently, these sessions follow the same general concept. Students will spend time with their lecturers either one-to-one or in groups of 2 or 3, discussing the topics that are being taught and engaging in the sharing of ideas with personal feedback. Oxbridge students will have these sessions frequently, and they're put in place to allow both students and lecturers to get truly hands-on with their teaching. Oxbridge students will still need to attend lectures, workshops and other group sessions on top of all of this, but the tutorials and supervisions are the crown jewel of any Oxbridge course. Another key difference comes from the collegiate system present at Oxford and Cambridge. Students don't just attend the university as a whole, they're admitted into one of over 30 colleges at each university, which provide the bulk of their university experience. The college you pick can make a massive difference to your time at the university, and they offer a close-knit community that can't really be replicated at any of the London-based universities. Speaking of which, the locations are also vastly different from one another. Oxford and Cambridge are both smaller, quieter cities, though they have subtle differences in terms of nightlife and green space. Then you compare them to London, and particularly central London, and it can seem like 2 completely different worlds. Many Oxbridge colleges house students in on-site accommodation that has stood for hundreds of years, giving everything a very classical Harry Potter-esque feeling. This is even more obvious when you see the banquet halls and libraries. Meanwhile, in London, applicants will usually be staying in much more modern accommodation that doesn't typically provide the same sense of community as an Oxbridge college. As London is such a busy city, you'll never be short of places to go, which is absolutely ideal for some. However, for those wanting something a little bit more calm, you'll probably prefer Oxford or particularly Cambridge. So, hopefully you now understand what the G5 University Group is, and you can start to decide if one of these options is going to be right for you. Remember that these universities are incredibly competitive, so you need to start your preparation as soon as you can if you haven't done so already. To start with, you can follow us here at Uni Admissions for even more content about UK universities and particularly Oxbridge. You can also visit our site to discover even more written guides and learn about our comprehensive preparation programs, which cover all 5 G5 universities. No matter where you choose to apply, we wish you the very best of luck and see you next time.